There are more than 500,000 Americans on dialysis in the United States, and for the majority of patients, the federal government is covering the cost of their kidney care. That comes out to about $40 billion a year through Medicare, yet the U.S. has among the highest death rates for patients on dialysis in the industrialized world. And a CBS News investigation found 1/3 of all dialysis clinics failed to meet federal performance standards. Now there's a push to rein in the for-profit corporations that dominate the market and end what one expert told us was the most broken system in healthcare. 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty has the story.
Could you live without having that treatment?
No, I would die within 3 days.
More than 500,000 Americans are on dialysis, and until 2021, Park, like most of them, received what he and others call fast food dialysis at clinics run by for-profit corporations like DaVita and Fresenius.
They're interested in keeping the revenue streams flowing, moving us in like cattle. To get that patient out, get the next patient in. You would sometimes find blood stains still on the armrest, sometimes in the chair, blood stains in front of you on the floor that no one's been able to clean up because they're too busy.
Our CBS News investigation found that since 2013, dialysis centers have been cited by federal regulators for more than 115,000 deficiencies, including poor training and unsanitary conditions. Around 67% of those deficiencies were split between clinics reported to be owned by DaVita or Fresenius.
And Erin Moriarty joins us now. Erin, so good to be with you, and such incredible reporting there. 500,000 Americans on dialysis, but 115,000 deficiencies since 2013.
And 90% of the patients are in these outpatient centers where these deficiencies have been found.
And so jumping off of that then, if you're forced into dialysis, what are the best options for care?
Well, there are some people who, in fact, you saw Jeff Park, who now has home dialysis. And for those people who can handle it, who has somebody else to help them do it, because you do have to have a partner who helps you, that is much better than the in-center, because you can get dialysis when you need it, for as long as you need it. It's a more gentle treatment, but you do need someone who helps you with it. One of the things that really struck me is, so if you're in an outpatient center, you can only go 3 days a week. If you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the centers are closed on Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, there's no dialysis for you. And doctors told us that they lose patients, they die on Monday because of that. But at home, if you have the home dialysis, then you can choose the days you need it.
You know, one of the things that I've heard is that dialysis can be incredibly excruciating. It's surprising to me to know that there are only really 2 companies that are cornering the market here. How did the industry come to be this way?
Well, I don't think that's how Congress ever expected it. You know, back in the 1960s, which I find so interesting, when dialysis really first became available, it was just too expensive. There weren't enough machines. And so this hospital in Seattle actually had to have a committee to decide who could get it and who couldn't get it. And it was called the God Committee, because they were actually deciding who was going to live and who was going to die. Because without dialysis, these patients die. So Congress in 1972 decided, okay, we can't do this. We have to make it more equitable. We've got to make sure. And back then there was competition. But then over the years, these 2 companies now owning, according to the CBS News investigation, about 75% of the market. And so according to critics then, and these are for-profit companies, they say that the effort is more to build profits over patient care.
Some of the findings in your reporting are pretty alarming. What are the dialysis companies telling you?
Well, and this is interesting, because the companies say that their priority is patient care, and they take exception to the stories we tell, and they say that these are isolated cases. But what's interesting, we heard this over and over again, and then since we aired this, starting on Sunday, we've gotten more letters from people saying, this is exactly what's happened to me. I want to point out, there are some people who say, look, I've had great care in the in-center. I've definitely seen that. But they have been outweighed by people saying, you know, it's very difficult. One woman wrote me, and it just broke my heart, who said, I know it saves my life, but some days I don't want to go. I'm so defeated.
Yeah, Erin, such impactful reporting. I can't think of a single person who isn't directly impacted by dialysis or knows someone who has to deal with dialysis. Thank you for your reporting. Thank you for coming on.